Bye-bye to my brother. Bye-bye, my best friend.
Oboda Farm in Bondo, Siaya County. History bowed its head as Raila Odinga was finally laid to rest on Sunday.
Bye-bye, my confidant.
Time itself seemed suspended the moment his casket descended into the red soil of his ancestral home.
To put your soul in peace and peace.
Here at Kang'oka Jaramogi, he found his eternal place to rest besides his father, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, Kenya's first vice president.
Thank you. May God take care of you.
Father and son, once bound in life by the struggle for freedom, now united in rest.
Na mambo yale yote ambayo Raila alitetea, hatutakubali arudi nyuma.
A final farewell draped in military solemnity. First, a military bugler sounded the last post. The traditional bugle call marking the end of a soldier's duty. 17 thunderous salutes would then split the skies of Bondo, each echo a reverberation of his lifelong service to democracy, justice, and liberty. Mona stood still. In that silence was recognition, not of a man who held the presidency, but of one who shaped the destiny of a people for generations. He breathed his last after a heart attack far away in India, where he sought healing, and returned home only to be embraced by the soil of his ancestors.
What we have there is what we call a water cannon salute, which is in honor of the late Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga.
It's the 16th of October 2025. An announcement will be made at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport.
Number is now Bravo 001.
The flight carrying the remains of Kenya's political icon had landed on the airport's runway. For thousands of supporters who converged at JKIA, the reality had finally sunk in. Their leader was gone. Grief was etched across their faces, and for many, the weight of sorrow could no longer be contained. It marked the beginning of Odinga's final journey. In life, these people had often gathered here to welcome him back whenever he returned from travels abroad. He would pause at several stops along the way, addressing them with his familiar vigor. But today, the story is different. His body lies still, born in a casket draped with the Kenyan flag, resting on a gun carriage. The flag's four colors, black, red, and green, divided by thin white stripes, are crowned at the center by a traditional shield and two crossed spears. For his supporters and for Kenyans at large, this moment carries the weight of unimmeasurable loss. Upon the announcement of Odinga's demise, President William Ruto declared 7 days of national mourning. Flags flew at half-mast.
As we mourn, I call on all Kenyans to reflect on his towering legacy and the lessons impacted by Right Honorable Raila Odinga's life, work, ideas, and example.
Raila Odinga, who passed away at the age of 80, devoted the better part of his life to politics. A fearless pro-democracy crusader, he endured 8 years behind bars for daring to challenge Moi's authoritarian rule.
Mimi nimepita eneo zingine ambaye singeweza kupita kama ingekuwa kuna Mungu. Mali zingine ambaye mimi nimewekwa ndani kama shimo. Masaa 24 saa moja peke yake ambaye wewe unaweza kuona jua. Yale ingine yote wewe uko kwa giza. Kuna chochote, asubuhi wanakufungilia wewe upeleke mkojo yako kwa choo. Alafu narudi nafungiwa. Unakaa namna hiyo mpaka saa nyingine macho yako yanakuja yanaharibika. Unaona saa nyingine mnaona mimi kuna shida ya macho yangu kwa sababu ya wakati ile.
He would go on to play a central role in two of Kenya's most defining reforms: the return of multi-party democracy in 1991 and the birth of a new constitution in 2010. Odinga served as Kenya's second prime minister and held several ministerial portfolios under both the Moi and Kibaki governments.
Nasimama mbele ya umma ya Wakenya nikiomba Wakenya wanipatie mimi kazi ya uongozi wa taifa la Kenya.
And though he contested the presidency 5 times without victory, his mark on Kenya's democratic journey remains profound, indelible, and unforgettable. The plan had been simple. Raila Odinga's body would lie in state at Parliament, allowing Kenyans to pay their final respects. But as the crowd swelled and mourners clambered over the gates, order collapsed. Officials made a swift decision. The cortege would be diverted to Nairobi's Kasarani Stadium.
The hearse carrying the remains of the late Prime Minister Raila Odinga was escorted from Jomo Kenyatta International Airport all the way to Kasarani Stadium, a nearly 40 kilometers journey by thousands of mourners, arriving there shortly after 2:30 p.m.
Yet the chaos followed.
Sisi tumeraukia Parliament asubuhi wakati tumesikia kwamba wameleta huku hafla iko huku. Tumetoka huko, tumetoka Kasarani, tumetoka Parliament na mbio. Tumekimbia kutoka Nairobi Parliament hadi hapa ndio tunafika.
At Kasarani, tension erupted. Gunshots and tear gas cracked through the air as security forces struggled to contain surging crowds. Panic swept across the stadium. Several mourners were injured as police fired to disperse those attempting to storm the VIP section. 3 people died during the chaos. Only by evening, under heightened security, did the public viewing of Odinga's body finally commence.
Nimekuwa nikimuona na nimekuwa nikipiga kura kwake sana, lakini leo naona nimevunja mtu mkubwa sana amepotea duniani, na ndio maana nimekuja hapa leo ili niweze kumpea asante zangu za mwisho.
Military honors, prayers and viewing of the body were done in the attendance of President William Ruto, former President Uhuru Kenyatta, family, dignitaries, and the top military command of the country.
Friday, October 17th, the day of his state funeral at Nyayo National Stadium. Before the nation gathered to bid him a final farewell, Raila Odinga's body was first taken to Parliament, the chamber where he had carved out a remarkable career spanning more than 2 decades. From 1992 until 2013, he represented Lang'ata constituency with steadfast loyalty, never once surrendering the seat.
More needs to be done to bring the country together, to give the people a sense of belonging, a sense of ownership.
As he lay in state, his casket rested upon a raised catafalque, flanked at each corner by soldiers from the Kenya Defence Forces. One by one, members of parliament, dignitaries, and the country's highest leadership filed past to pay their respects. In Kenya's history, few leaders have been accorded such a solemn honor. It was within these very walls that Raila Odinga rose to prominence.
Do you expect someone who opposed it to implement it? This is what I've been saying. So I've been telling the people that don't vote for the people who oppose the constitution because you want this constitution to be implemented.
A fearless debater, a reformist voice who relentlessly challenged entrenched power.
The envelope to ICC. It is this house.
His parliamentary journey took him from the ranks of opposition leader to cabinet minister in critical portfolios such as energy and roads, and ultimately to the post of prime minister in the 2008 Grand Coalition government.
Democracy was on trial in Kenya. And that has not dented my commitment to constitutionalism and the rule of law.
Throughout these years, Raila became inseparable from Kenya's defining political battles. The fight for multi-party democracy, the push for devolution, and the long struggle for constitutional reforms. His voice echoed at the heart of debate that reshaped the nation. By the time he left Parliament in 2013, Raila Odinga was no longer simply Lang'ata's Member of Parliament. He had emerged as a towering national figure, a statesman whose voice carried the weight of millions who longed for freedom, justice, and democratic change. The body of Raila Odinga was placed upon a solemn military gun carriage, beginning its slow procession towards Nyayo National Stadium. The cortege wound its way through the heart of Nairobi, along Uhuru Highway and onward through Mombasa Road, as thousands lined the streets in silence and song. Soldiers of the armed forces sat in steady formation, guarding the casket of the former Prime Minister with unwavering precision, the outriders moving in a spearhead formation. The cortege rolled into Nyayo National Stadium as the nation held its breath to bid farewell to the man who had been christened Baba, or simply Father. In the stands, voices rose in unison. Raila's name proclaimed with unshaken admiration. A final chorus for a leader who had inspired generations.
Tukiwa tunaaga baba yetu Raila Amolo Odinga, nataka pia tujiape ya kwamba hatutakubali kama Wakenya haki za kibinadamu, demokrasia na mambo yale yote ambayo Raila alitetea, hatutakubali arudi nyuma.
One of the greatest lessons he taught us was this: in the noble task of statecraft and nation building, there is room for all of us, competitors and collaborators, rivals and allies, bound together by one higher purpose, the greater good of our republic.
Please don't carry grudges from one generation to another and from one group to another. We are all Kenyans. We are all Kenyans. We are sisters and brothers. We must learn to forgive easily and build together Kenya.
To my fellow mourners, I learned from him that love for country is not just in words, but in sacrifice. That justice must be pursued even when the path is lonely. The true leadership is service and not power. Millions of you are in despair, but take heart, because he left a plan for you too. He led all of us, he taught us, he carried us. We know what he expects from us.
Later, members of the public filed past his body to pay their final respect.
We are very pleased as a committee that exercise, which just ended a few minutes to 5 p.m., has continued and ended peacefully, solemnly, and in utmost dignity, notwithstanding that there were thousands of people who patiently queued, waited, performed their respects, and left the stadium. We don't take it for granted.
Saturday, October 18th, his body was flown to the land of his ancestors in a military aircraft. The Kenya Air Force aircraft bore the call sign Enigma 01. A solemn tribute to the late statesman. The plane had been received with a ceremonial water cannon salute from the Kenya Airports Authority's Fire and Rescue Unit, a symbolic gesture that ushered in the start of the solemn proceedings. The casket was then placed aboard an NIS helicopter for a brief flight to Mamboleo Stadium, where thousands of mourners awaited its arrival. From the break of dawn, residents of Kisumu and surrounding counties thronged the venue, waving flags, clutching portraits, and raising songs that echoed Raila's long and storied political journey.
I want to convey my heartfelt condolences to Mama Ida and the family. He was a great leader.
The body would lie in state at the stadium for public viewing throughout the day before it was transported to his rural home in Bondo, Siaya County, back to his roots and his people. Sunday, October 19th, 2025, Odinga's burial day. First, it will be taken to Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University for a funeral service.
We are against those who are trying to tear Kenya apart and speak the language of division and tribalism and ethnicity. War.
Almost everyone in the country's top leadership came for the final goodbyes.
Thank you, Kenya. God bless you all. God bless the Republic. God bless Baba's legacy.
They came to say thanks for the many years of service to the nation.
Many commentators in the newspapers and in the media say this is a very big blow for William Ruto. Yes, it is. It is a very big blow. I have discharged my responsibility to a friend, to a brother, to my mentor, a man I went to his school. Wengi walijaribu kuniambia ya kwamba Raila hakukuwa rais. Kwa hivyo heshima yake ishushwe chini kidogo. Mimi nikawaambia hata kama hakuwa rais, he was the people's president. Na kwa hivyo apatiwe heshima ya kutoshana na rais.
I have been there. In 1982, some of you don't know, you only see me in this siasa. I'm the fan of the first women who was said that I was with my brother as he was picked to go to detention. I was forced by the society to be one of the first women exilees. I went living in Uganda, Tanzania, and ended up in Zimbabwe. When my brother was supposed to be taken back to detention in 1990, he was asked where he wanted to go. He said, I'm going to Norway to my sister. Raila became a refugee in Norway, staying with me, Ruth Odinga. I'm just saying this to show you that this was a stoic man,
The family has suffered because he sacrificed himself. Some of you are looking here, you don't know what Mama Ida has gone through. I used to know, I stayed with her. Being alone without your husband for all those years, the 9 years, and you see people mentioning.
Raila would later be buried at Kang'o ka Jaramogi. The ceremony was marked by full military honors, carried out in accordance with President William Ruto's proclamation issued immediately following the announcement of Raila's passing. My name is Enoch Sikolia, and I am the Kenyan historian.